Hi, this is Scott with Ford Tech. Today we are in an 11 to 14 body style Ford Edge that came MyFord Touch equipped but lacks navigation. We will be showing you how to do the MyFord Touch Sync to Navigation upgrade kit in this vehicle. To do this upgrade, we need a few basic tools. T20 Torx, number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a 7mm nut driver, and some plastic dash removal tools. Let's get started. First, we need to remove these trim pieces on each side of the dash bezel, which are silver in color on this vehicle. To remove these pieces, we want to pull up on them first and use our dash removal tools to help. And then pull outward on the vertical portion. And we'll repeat the same procedure on the other side. Pulling up, and then outward. Next, we need to remove the 4 T20 Torx screws that are here at the 4 corners. We now need to remove 6 7mm screws up here. These 2 upper ones here, and then the 4 that are recessed on each side of the bezel here. We'll start with the top 2. These are a different thread than the other 4 and the ones that hold the screen in, so you want to set them aside separately. Now that we have the screws out, we'll need to briefly turn on the ignition and slide this shifter back to neutral so that we can pull this panel back and get it out of the way. The lower panel is clipped into the upper panel with these 2 clips right here, so you want to unsnap them and move it back, and then this panel, the upper bezel, will pop out. And lift out of the way. Once we lift it out of the way, you'll want to disconnect this single connector by pushing in on the tab on the bottom where my thumb is and pulling it out. We can now shift it back into park and shut it off. Next, we need to get the screen out of the opening so we can replace the module that is bolted to the back of it. We'll take out these 4 7mm screws. With the screws out, we'll pull the unit out and we need to disconnect it. This USB cable, you push the tab where my thumb is on the back edge of the connector and unplug it. The large 54 pin, you push a little lock that is in front of this gray lever in, and then start to swing the lever and push it all the way away to release the connector and pull it out. The module that's being replaced is the module on the back of this screen. We'll need to unscrew this module and replace it with a navigation equipped one from Ford Tech. You can do this by laying the screen down on a soft surface somewhere on a table. For the sake of this video, we're going to put a rag in this place and put the screen here so that you can see what I'm doing. There are 4 Phillips screws that hold the module to the screen that we'll take out to take the module off. Once the screws are all out, you'll be able to unsnap the module from the screen. And then we'll need to retrieve the screws from the module. We'll set this module aside and grab the navigation equipped one from 4D Tech. And this will get clipped into the connector with these two studs lining up the same way the old one came off. So we'll line it up and just push it on to click it in and replace the 4 Phillips screws. With the new navigation module attached to the screen, we just need to reconnect it the same way the old one was connected. We'll take this 54-pin connector, make sure the lever is still flat out in the open position like it was when you disconnected it. Push it into the connector till the lever starts to move, and then use the lever to push the lock the rest of the way in. We'll also take the USB cable with the clip facing up and plug it in to the black connector on the module until it clicks in fully. Now we'll put this in the opening and replace the 4 7mm screws we took out earlier. Before we complete the installation, you will want to at some point take the map card that was provided in the kit and slide it in the SD card slot inside the center console. You'll do that with the label facing up and push in until it clicks into place. Next, we need to put the bezel panel back over the screen. So we will take that, reconnect the connector with the clip facing downward. You're going to push it in until it clicks. We'll turn on the ignition so we can slide the shifter out of the way again. With the bezel clip back in, we'll push those clips back in and get the shifter bezel back in as well. Now we'll replace the 7mm screws that we took out earlier. We'll want to grab the 2 screws that were up here that we set aside separately that were the different thread. Put those in as well. Next, we need to replace the 4 T20 Torx screws we took out around the shifter bezel. With the screws all back in place, we just need to replace the silver trim that was on each side of the dash bezel. We'll set the trim in place, snapping the upper first, and then snapping in the lower. And same on the other side. And now that everything is together and we already have the ignition on for moving the shifter, you can see the new MyFord Touch Sync 2 system fired up that now includes navigation up in the corner instead of the previous information icon. When we touch that, the maps will load as well. Now you see how simple it is to do the MyFord Touch Sync 2 navigation upgrade in the 11 to 14 Edge. Thank you for watching our video. This is Scott with 4D Tech.